Hey guys, it's the Gundam Boy, and today we're going to be taking a look at a SMG, the Reprimand. And the only thing classifying it a SMG is because Arrowhead said so. But let's take a quick look at it. If you want this weapon for yourself, you can get it from the Truth Enforcer's Warp on page 2. Taking a look at the weapon's base stats, we can see it has 125 damage, a capacity of 25, recoil of 28, and a fire rate of 490. Looking further in at the stats, we can see it has a horizontal recoil of 9, vertical recoil of 48, a sway of 2, ergonomics is at 45, it has 9 magazines, and a reload time of 4. When it comes to this weapon's customization, you have optics, an underbarrel, and a muzzle, and that's pretty much it, because otherwise this gun would lean too far into— oh, what are you doing, Cap? And if you're super interested in what you should use for a loadout for each front, I can show you right now. So, this one's for the bots, this one's for the bugs, and this one's for the Illuminate, and this one crashed my game. Start digging in your— If you're looking for the best attachments for this weapon, we got the vertical foregrip, the iron sights, and the compensator. Gives you good ergonomics while giving you good recoil control. And if you're anything like me, with your eyes degrading from playing this game every day, you could use the 1.5 scope to try and get a little bit more accuracy. When you're just starting off with this weapon, you should have no problem learning its recoil and handling its ergonomics. But the problem is, this gun is really slow to reload. Reloading it even with the bullet still in the mag still feels like it's pretty weighty, but it will shave off a lot of time, allowing you to reload this gun way faster. Just remember, you won't be able to slap the gun anymore. This SMG, though, fares pretty well in close quarters combat down to medium range. But do keep in mind that it's not really built for long range combat, and if you try to use it for long range combat, you're going to be squinting the entire time. Some pros about this weapon is that it has high damage, it's medium pen, and it's pretty easy to control. The only cons with this weapon is that it has a slow reload, low ammo capacity per magazine, and it has pretty minimal customization. But this weapon's biggest weakness, which is the slow reload and low ammo per mag, is actually countered by 2 armor passives, making both of them reload you faster, while Siege Ready provides increased ammo. Looking at Siege Ready specifically, it gives you 11 magazines instead of 9, and this reload speed gives you less downtime, allowing you to get into the fight much faster. So this takes away 2 of this gun's weaknesses, but it still has a problem with high swarm situation. Sure, you can kill most enemies that will come across your path, but once you start racking up into the 30s for your kill streaks, you probably aren't using the Reprimand at this point. This submachine gun assault rifle performs pretty well on the automaton front, being capable of taking down both berserkers, devastators, and chicken walkers. The Reprimand has no problem holding itself on the battlefront against bots, killing things like devastators with no problem, and one-tapping troopers in the chest or their other head. With a weapon like this, it means on the bot front, you can really lean on this gun as much as you need until you need to pull out that support weapon. Whereas the bots make you feel like you're fighting Terminators, the bug front will make you feel like you're playing EDF. Since this faction relies on swarming you completely, the Reprimand can kinda choke here, especially when it comes to holding down positions. The Reprimand's limited ammo amount, with 25 in the magazine, kinda constricts you to how much you can mow down. If it's a small engagement, the Reprimand should have no problem, but once it starts getting a bit too crazy, the gun is gonna start to struggle. Especially if you're not wearing something with an increased reload speed, because this gun can give you some really critical moments between I might die and I might live, because your character wants to give that gun a nice slap. So depending on your team composition and your loadout, you will have to compensate for this weapon. But it is personally one of my favorite guns to counter brood commanders. And it's a gun so good that even though you get kicked from your fire team for doing the objective, you will still have no problem taking down everything else. Just like the bugs on the Illuminate front, the Reprimand has similar problems. If you're trying to use the Reprimand as a crowd-controlling option, then you'll quickly find yourself in the middle of a mosh pit, especially when you consider that the automaton troopers die in 1 shot to the chest. And this is important to know, because voteless typically take 2 to 3 shots to die, which kinda surprised me, because I for some reason thought they all had the same health pool, but the wiki actually shows there is 3 different variants of the voteless, which you can obviously see in the field. There is a light, a medium, and a heavy version of voteless. For some reason, both the light and the medium voteless, from what I've tested, die in 2 shots if you're aiming towards a chest, and if you're going up against the heavy, it takes 3 shots to die. Good information to know when you're playing on a level 10, because if you're getting swarmed a lot, you might want to bring other options to take down massive groups, as this gun's weakness is swarms. And sure, you could take your time aiming for the head, but if you're playing on a level 10, it typically looks like this. And yes, you can fight things off like flesh mobs, but do you really want to commit that much ammo to something that could be taken down by your support weapon? But it's not a bad gun to use against things like Overseers, since you can aim for the head, or you could just body shot them till they drop. And since it's a medium pen gun, it means you can aim at the joints of things like Harvesters. Yeah, but I like to blow them up instead. So if you're using this weapon on the automaton front, it should have no problem keeping pace with most of the enemies that will be thrown against you, but it mainly struggles against swarm situations on both the bug and the Illuminate side. Doesn't make the Reprimand useless on these fronts, it just needs a little bit more assistance. Oh, only if we had red, blue, or green stratagems to help this weapon. The typical loadout I bring on the bug front is guard dog gas and the commando, then I bring the gas strike and an airstrike to take down the enemies in the horde. Then I use things like crisper and more gas grenades just to help control the area better. I built this loadout specifically centered around team play because it still lets you help your teammates with controlling the area with gas without doing something more volatile like fire. Unless you're named Sunskater, then you'll walk right into my fire and my gas. But that's the end of my video. What do you guys think about this weapon? I personally loved it when it first released until I realized its bloom was comically weird. The customization update really saved this gun. But I'll see you guys later. Want to see something scarier than a spider?